Hello, welcome to this yoga video. So in today's session I'm just going to take you through a few fairly basic yoga poses, and if any of them feel a little bit challenging for you, don't worry, because what I suggest that you have to hand is just a dressing gown belt or any type of belt just to help you with some of the poses, and also a chair. So you may not need this, but if you've got any issues with your back, any stiffness in your back or in your legs, especially the back of the legs, the hamstrings, a chair. I've got this blue chair here today, so you may find that that's something that's going to help you. And also if you've got any issues with your balance or hip or back issues, just have a wall or the chair to hand would also be good. Okay. So shall we get started? All right then, so we're going to start on all fours. So placing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. If you have got any wrist issues and you find this challenging, you can always do this on your fingertips, which will be strengthening the fingers, or on your knuckles. I'm going to be back onto my palms here. So draw the shoulders away from the ears. Feel that you've got that natural curve in your neck, so you're not dropping your chin at the moment and you're not overextending. And the natural curve in your back. So again, this would be me extending. This would be me flexing. Try and find that start position in neutral. And then on an inhalation, we're going to lift the chest, lift the chin as we draw the navel to the floor. And then we just hold that briefly at the end of the inhalation. And then as we exhale through the nose, we're lifting the belly up to the spine, we're lifting the heart towards the shoulder blades, and then chin to chest. And again, we just hold briefly that exhalation until you need to breathe again. So feeling that we gently mobilise through the whole of the spine, keeping the shoulders away from the ears as we breathe in. And then as we exhale, feeling the shoulder blades move away from each other. We'll just do that once more. So again, you're going at your own rhythm. So not necessarily following me. You can pause the video whenever you need to. And finishing on an exhalation. And then from here, we're going to go back to that neutral spine. We're going to find a lateral stretch, starting on your left-hand side. You're going to breathe in. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring your right shoulder towards your right ear. Now I'm going to my right as well, so you can feel free to go to your left as I'm going to my right if that feels that's better for you. So again, trying to draw the right shoulder towards your right hip, making sure now that you don't stick the hip out. So you're going to make sure the left hip stays nice and steady. And breathe into the centre. And as you exhale, you're going to repeat on the opposite side. So trying to keep the buttocks still. And this time bringing the left shoulder towards the left hip. And you can also bring the ear a little towards the shoulder so that you've got that lateral stretch through the right side of the neck as well as the waist and the trunk. I'm going to inhale, come back to the centre. Now from here, we're going to work into the core. So we're going to tuck the toes under. Again, lift the belly. Now for this variation, you can come onto your knuckles if your wrists are aching. So draw the shoulders back. Feel free to stay on the palms if you wish. And then as you exhale, you're trying to keep your hips still and almost scoop your knees forwards. So you're looking directly down between your palms. You're not lifting your chin in this position. You've got that neutral position, but you feel now the belly's drawn back. You can start to breathe a little bit more laterally, so feel that you're breathing into your ribs, your back, side ribs, rather than your belly. And you can stay in this position for as long as you wish. And again, just checking that you're not overlifting your hips like so. So just do another couple of breaths there. Again, you can lower the knees a little bit low if you find that's comfortable. And then on your next exhalation, you're going to come down, drawing your big toes together, and then you're going to sit back. Now, if you can't get your bottom all the way onto your heels here, if you've got a stiff back or knees, you can put a cushion on top of your heels and sit back on that. We're going to reach the hands forwards, lift the chest, feel that the upper back moves in, spread the fingers, and then bring your head towards the floor. Again, if your head doesn't come towards the floor, you can place a pillow underneath your forehead here. So your forehead coming down towards the ground and your elbows moving in. Spread your fingers wide and focus on your breath in and out through your belly. Now again, if you've got any shoulder impingement, feel free to bring your arms back at your sides if that feels better for you. And again, you can take as many breaths as you want there. And then from here, we're going to lie down on our tummy now. So when you lie down, feel that you're reaching your legs away from you. and you're lifting your trunk gently forwards. You're going to bring your hands back. Now again, if you're stiffer in your back, have your feet wider apart. We're trying to activate the quadriceps, so we want to feel that we're lifting the kneecaps up, but we're pressing the tail and the pubic bone down. So if you're stiffer, have your hands further forwards and even your elbows on the floor. If you're more flexible, bring the hands further back. Keep your feet on the floor, and as you breathe in, press with the hands and lift the chest forwards, and you're just coming up to where you feel that gentle extension through your spine, and with the shoulders down, lifting the chin if you can. And as you exhale, you're coming down. So I'm going to show a variation. If you found that challenging, have your elbows on the floor and bring your arms further forwards and wider. And as you inhale, just come up to here. Again, pressing the tailbone towards the heel bones and the pubic bone down. Exhale, come down. And for those of you who find this very comfortable, you can bring your hands further back and further in towards your chest. Again, you're trying to keep your feet down and you're getting more of an extension, but this should feel comfortable. We're going to exhale, come down. Okay, so we're going to come into downward dog. So to get the correct measurement as a beginner, you bring your hands back so that your elbows, your forearms are at 90 degrees to your upper arms and your fingertips are level with your nipples. So this is sort of the beginner's position. If you are quite flexible, your heels go easy to the floor, you would bring your hands a little bit further forward. But we'll start here for now. I'll come a little bit further forward on my mat as well. Okay, you're going to tuck your toes under, feel the belly draws back, and then as you exhale, bring your hips into a deep flexion. So by that I mean you're bringing your bottom further back, and then you're trying to bring your shoulders away from your wrists. So when you lift up, you don't really want your shoulders here. If you've got a stiff back, this is where you'll probably be. So bend your knees a little bit more, keep lifting your belly away from the floor. And then once you've got that movement in your upper back, because this is where we get very round as we get older, we tend to be here. Once you've got that, see if you can then press your legs back. And if your heels easily came to the floor, then you can of course walk your hands a little bit further forward or your feet further back. See if you can draw your elbows in. So your tricep muscles draw in as much as you can. And again, try to keep the weight off your wrist. Try and press into your index fingers, the very tips into your thumbs, and let your head just go. You can close your eyes. Again, you feel the belly is drawn towards the spine. So pressing towards the outer feet as much as the inner feet, and seeing if you can press the thigh bones back. If pressing your thigh bones back creates this in your upper back, bend your knees, and again see if you can get that upper back moving in. Okay, now from here, I'm going to keep the belly firm. If you've got a stiff back, I want you to walk your legs wider. If your back is fine, keep them just a little bit wider than hip distance, and then you're going to breathe in. Lift the chest, chin, start to bring your shoulders forwards over your wrists, and then legs are straight. If there's pulls in your back, some of you may feel that you want to pop your knees on the floor. That is fine. So you're bringing your tailbone into your pubic bone, and you're bringing your hips forward. Shoulders are rolling back. If there's pulls in your back, place your knees on the floor and press to the feet here. If this feels super comfortable and your back is very flexible, you can bring the feet further forwards and lift up more. So you can hold this for about 4 or 5 breaths, and those of you who have got your knees off the floor, lift the kneecaps up. So feel that your knees lift away from the floor if that's comfortable. Then you're going to tuck your toes under, lift your belly, lift your hips, and go back into downward dog. And again, we'll just hold that for as long as is comfortable. If you need to come down, then feel free to come down and rest. Then we're going to do that once more. So if you did have a rest, come back into your downward dog. And again, lift your chest, lift your chin, inhale, and come slowly forwards with control. So you don't need to come onto the top of your feet, but if you are flexible, you can see here for me, I am coming onto the tops. Again, if this pulls in your back, you can place your knees on the floor and you can bend your elbows. It's fine to bend your elbows as long as you don't sink like this. You've got to draw the shoulders down. So again, you can lift through the chest, lift the chin, look up. And once more, we're going to exhale, scooping that belly away from the floor and letting the head just go. Your eyes can be closed or open. If your eyes are open, keep a nice soft gaze. Just take another few breaths here. And then bend your knees, big toes together. And again, you can keep the arms forwards if that feels good. Otherwise, you can bring your arms back by your feet, resting in child's pose, also called Adho Mukha Virasana, face down here. Okay, all right, we're going to continue with back extensions now. So I'm going to pick up that dressing gown belt that I showed you at the beginning of the session. So you don't need to use a dressing gown, you can use a tie, you can use any sort of a belt, and you may not need it. This is if you're stiff in your shoulders or your back. So we're going to stretch the legs back again and rest the forehead on the floor. If you feel that this isn't comfortable for your neck, you can roll the edge of your mat and place your forehead on the mat, or you can have a very thin cushion underneath your head. All right, so from here, we're going to press the feet down, rest the forehead on the hands. I'm going to bend up the right leg. So I'm bending up my left leg because it's closest to the camera. When you bend that leg, you want to feel that you're keeping your groins firmly down and both hip bones pressing down. From here, you're going to reach back and see if you can take a hold of your foot. Now, when you reach back, there should be no strain in your shoulder, and you shouldn't be doing this. If you feel that this happens, take your belt or whatever you've got, your tie or whatever, you can even use a Pilates band, place it on your ankle and use your belt instead. Again, some people have got limited flexibility in the knees, so you may feel you're more here. Those of you who are flexible, if this feels really comfortable, you can bring your foot flat onto your bottom, and if that creates no pain, no discomfort, and you want to go a little bit further, keeping your knees together, you're going to bring your foot towards your outer hip. Again, this right shoulder rolls back, and if you're very flexible in your shoulders, you can bring your fingers over your toes this way, so that you're going from your fingers looking at your ankle to your fingers looking at your right hip, and then your fingertips towards your right shoulder, so your fingers are over your toes. Okay, you stay there as long as you wish, and then we'll repeat that on the other side. So again, making sure the hips are down. If you look at my lower back, you can see again I'm trying to create length here, not dropping down into the floor. So pressing down with the thighs. I'm bending up the opposite leg, so this will be your left knee now bending. Again, keep the knees together, roll the shoulder back, and again use that belt if there's any discomfort in your shoulders, your knees or your back. So you can hold, maybe some of you will be here, some a bit closer, and again if you don't need that belt, try and take it off. That's it. Bring your foot towards your bottom, feel that stretch through your thighs, and again you can increase that shoulder stretch by taking your hand out and bringing it all the way around so your fingers look over your toes. Again, at this point, both hips are firmly down. And you can repeat that as many times as you wish. All right, now from here, we're going to a slightly stronger back bend. So if this feels too much, I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to show you the pose we're going to be doing. It's called bow pose. So again, we're checking the groins are down, and more importantly, that we've got this lengthening action in the lower back. And we'll see if we can reach back and hold the ankles. Once we've got a hold of the ankles, we're going to lift the heels towards the ceiling and draw the toes down. So my shoulders are in full extension and my shoulder blades are drawn together. I'm still pressing my thighs down, and there should be no gapping here. If you feel that this is a challenge for you, take your belt, place it on your ankles, draw your toes towards your shins, and again hold as close towards your ankles as you can, maintaining that rotation back of the shoulders. Now we're going to take a breath in, and then as we exhale, you can press your feet into the belt or into your hands and use your legs to lift your chest as you exhale. Take a breath in. Again, try and spread the feet, press the heels up, and again, as you exhale, press further back. So if this feels really comfortable for you, you may even feel that on perhaps the third or the fourth exhalation, you can lift the knees. Try not to tip forwards towards your chest and your diaphragm. Try and press the legs back. So the action is the legs going back, the knees rolling in, they're not together, they're hip distance, and the little toes moving down towards the floor. Now, if you're thinking, no way, am I doing that pose? That doesn't feel good for you. Then the variation is going to be to lie on your back with your feet hip distance and take your belt around your ankle. So you can bring your feet as close towards your bottom as feels comfortable. Just check that your toes aren't turned out. Keep your feet parallel. And then on your exhalation, you're going to lift up, press your shins back, pull on your belt. And you can see this is a very similar shape to bow. We've got that extension in the chest. We're still working into the legs. Try not to push your knees forwards. Press your shins back as you would when you were doing the full bow pose. And then when you're ready, exhale, come down. So if you're lying on your back now, you can hug your shins towards you, thighs towards your ribs. And if you were doing the full bow pose, I'll just go back into that. If you were doing the full bow pose here, then you can come again into face down hero. Bringing your hands back this time and letting your shoulders just come forwards. And resting for as long as you wish. So you don't need to come up when I do. You can stay there for 5 minutes if you wish. Okay, well done. Okay, hello then. Right, so we're going to start in Tadasana. So this is Tadasana. It's also called mountain pose. So you're going to have your big toes together. You're going to feel that you're rolling your groins in and the outer edges of your knees are just drawing slightly back here. So from a side angle, you want to feel that you're not pushing forwards with the pelvis. So the weight is over the arch, a little towards the heel side, buttock flesh descending. I'm going to turn the palms slightly forwards. And then from that angle, we're going to come into tree pose. So lifting through the chest bone, you're going to turn out your right leg. As you do that, draw this left hip in. See if you can hold your ankle and bring your foot high towards your groin. Now, some people find that is a little bit challenging, so you can have the foot a lot lower. So here. Then you're trying to widen this knee away from your hip, lift your chest, and then if you can take the arms up, reaching the arms up and lifting the chest. If you find this is very easy and your balance is very good, start to half close your eyes so you feel that you are working in the pose. Now, if you're finding this is very difficult, it is fine to have a belt to keep the foot in place, and you can also have your back to the wall. So if I was struggling, I would have my feet just about an inch away from the wall, turning out the right foot. If the foot doesn't stay, I could use my dressing gown belt to hold here, and again I'm trying to draw the outer knee towards the wall behind me, and you can just then extend the one arm up. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, you can feel free to stay on the wall if you need it. So again, turning out that left leg, drawing the right hip in, and to keep the foot there, try to feel that you're lifting your shin up towards the bent leg thigh. So you're trying to make a sandwich of your shin to your calf to your hamstring, and then pressing the legs together. So trying to lift up. You also have to feel your tailbone moves in. So again, you can hold that belt, you can be with your back against the wall, and you can raise up 1 or 2 arms. And again, if your balance is very good, rather than keeping your eyes on a fixed point, which would help you balance, challenge yourself by perhaps moving the gaze up towards the ceiling or closing your eyes. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can exhale, come down. But again, you can pause the video, you can stay there for as long as you wish. So lowering the leg down, coming back into Tadasana, pressing the thighs back, lifting the chest. We're going to inhale, take the hands across the chest, bend the knees. If you've got any joint or back problems, step your legs apart. Otherwise, you can jump. Now, where you jump your legs to is dependent on your flexibility and on what is comfortable for you. So we're aiming to bring the ankles under the wrists if we can, but you may find that's too much for you, in which case bring the legs a little bit closer together. So if inside edges of your feet are parallel, again, you're moving your tailbone in. We're going to come up onto the left heel, toes slightly in, heel out. Then we're going to be on the ball of the right foot and turn out complete. So looking here, move this twig, you're going to make sure your foot is completely parallel. Your foot's not coming in at all. And we're going to try and feel that we move this buttock forwards and we get this rotation in the groin. We'll reach into the fingers. We're going to lift the quadricep muscle up. You can see me lifting my kneecap here. I'm going to just mark the seam of my tights as well, so my alignment is, it looks correct. So I'm trying to rotate this way. And breathe and raise up your right arm. And then as you exhale, you're going to reach out and you're going to come onto your leg. So start on the top of your leg. and feel that you're not coming forwards with your head. So it's very easy now for the bottom to stick out. So see if you can keep the bottom in and stack your shoulders. So your left shoulder wants to be on top of your right. If this is very comfortable, you can slide further down your leg. Try not to do this. So you've got to keep this leading right buttock bone up, rotate your shoulders, rotate your chest, so feel that shoulder rotates back, and if your balance is good, see if you can turn and see the back of the hand with your right eye. So keep the breath comfortable. Remember, you don't have to go too far down the leg, you can come further up if you wish, and then when you're ready, press that outer back foot, inhale, come up, exhale, turn your feet and just lower your arms. Again, just check your feet haven't become misaligned. So you want to feel that your feet are completely in alignment with each other. Again, raise up the arms, come up onto your left heel this time, toes in, heels out, and then pivot and turn out the whole of your left leg. Actually, this is your right leg, isn't it? So again, you lift your quadricep, rotate the inner groin out, breathe in, and then as you exhale, you're coming out over your left leg. So again, don't go too low down if there's any pulling in the back, but if this feels very comfortable, slide your hand further down. Again, this top hip, see if you can roll it back, and you're turning everything forwards. Top arm up. If you've got any shoulder impingement, sometimes it's easier to bring the arm this way. You can try that method, or you can keep your hand on your hip. Again, looking forwards, or if the balance is good, you can look up towards the top hand. And again, this is strengthening the spine, the legs, as well as the neck. So see if you can rotate and look at the back of the hand with that left eye. Then you're going to press that outer foot. Inhale, turn your feet, and you're either going to heel toe, back joints, or you can jump and bring your legs back. So again, coming back into Tadasana, lifting your chest, and you can repeat that however many times you wish. Normally 2 times it is sufficient. I'm going to breathe in once more, and again, stepping or jumping the leg, and then go back into that wide alignment, come back onto your left heel, toes in, heel out, and again, turning out that right foot. So if you feel that when you look down at this leg, your leg rotates in this way, you can turn your toes slightly out to get this rotation in your leg. Otherwise, the foot's parallel. Now, you've got to try and reach back now with your left hand, lift the chest, breathe in towards the spine, so feel that you're lengthening to the crown of your head, and as you exhale, just imagine someone is pulling you back with this left hand. Now you're going to bend to where you feel strong. So traditionally we bend towards 90 degrees, we've got this 90-degree bend here, but if that feels too much for you, feel free to ease out of it. We're trying to hold this pose, draw the shoulders down, feel your armpits move forwards, and soften your breath. So again, if you're capable, if you feel, yeah, this is really comfortable, you're going a little bit low. But again, this back foot, we're trying not to drop. We're trying to lift that ankle bone. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. See if you can tune into your breath. Do 2 more breaths if you can. Eyes can be open or closed. And then you're going to place your left hand onto your leg. You're going to breathe in, reach up your right arm, then as you exhale, maintaining this stillness in the front leg, you're going to reach back now with that right hand. So you're reaching over and you're getting this lateral stretch through the front of the trunk. Again, you can look up, strengthen your neck. Again, holding for as long as it's comfortable. And then you're going to inhale, bring the arms back, straighten the legs, turn the toes, and lower the arms. Now feel free to bring your legs together in between, changing sides if you need to. I'm going to keep my legs apart, but if you want to bring them together and have a rest, you can. Okay, we're going to take the arms out again. I'm going to repeat that on the side. So drawing the right foot in a little, and then being on the ball of the left foot and turning. So again, we've got this alignment with the centre of the heel and the centre of the arch. But again, you can turn those toes back towards the corner of your mat if your leg doesn't rotate. So again, breathing in, reaching back now towards that right arm, and then as you exhale, bending that left leg. So again, some people it's just a little bend, some we go a little bit further, but if you're going further, make sure the weight's not going onto your left leg. You've got to stay equal through both legs. And then we're going to hold that Virabhadrasana 2, shoulders down, nice steady breath. And again, if you feel more calm or balanced with the eyes closed, feel free to relax the eyes. And you may find that's more easy to bring the awareness into the breath. And when you want, you can open the eyes. Place now the right hand on the leg. Inhale, lift up the left arm, and as you exhale, slide that hand down the leg and reach the front arm up and over. Again, you can look up to strengthen the neck if you wish. You don't need to. You can keep the head level if you prefer. And then when you're ready, you're going to inhale, straighten both legs, turn your left leg, and then you're going to heel toe or jump back to Tadasana. Well done. Okay, so we're coming back down to the floor now for our relaxation. So a few things you might want to have to hand are a couple of cushions, a blanket. So I've got a really big throw here as my blanket. And of course, feel free to put some extra layers on because you might get a little bit colder now. So we're going to have our cushions to hand. Now, some of you may want these, some of you may not. This is personal choice. I'm going to show with both. I'm going to join the soles of the feet. So the soles of the feet will be joined together. Now, when you join the soles of the feet, it's probably best to start with your legs straight and then bend one knee at a time so that when you bring your heels together, they line up with the centre of your perineum. Now, again, you can bring your feet to touch your perineum if you're very flexible, or if there's any pulling on the knees, feel free to have the feet further forwards. If you've got any hip or knee problems, it's a good idea to take plenty of support. So I'm just showing with 2 cushions, and you want your support to be the same height. If you haven't got any issues and you like to have a deeper stretch, remove the cushions completely. I'm going to remove them just so it's easy to see my legs from the side without the cushions in the way. And then once you've come down onto your forearms, you're going to roll your shoulders back, you're going to lift your pelvis, and what we're trying to do is draw the buttock flesh forwards. So we're reducing that natural curve in the lower back by pressing the buttock flesh forwards. I'm also coming a bit closer, so that's comfortable for me. You don't need to come closer if that's not comfortable for you. Then you dig your elbows in, roll your shoulders back. Now, when you're lying back, you want to make sure your head isn't thrown back. If you are stiffer in your neck, you may decide to have a third cushion and place it under your neck and your head. Again, you want to make sure that this isn't pushing your neck into flexion. So I'm going to go without the cushions because I don't feel that I need them. And then you're going to take the arms a little away from the sides, allow the knees to descend, and drawing the chin slightly down, you're going to relax your elbows completely from here. And you're just going to bring the awareness now of your breath into your belly. So your belly breathes in towards the ceiling as you inhale. And as you exhale, just feel the belly drawing towards the floor. And again, you can stay here for as long as you wish, up to 10-15 minutes. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to stay here just for another few breaths. And if at any time you feel you need to straighten your legs, then go ahead and do that. And then when you feel that you've had enough time to recover, you're going to bring your knees together one at a time, and then you're going to lie out in full Shavasana. So when you lie out in Shavasana, if you haven't done a lot of yoga, you may feel that your lower back is aching. So if you have any aching in your back as you straighten your legs, you can put these cushions underneath your knees here, and that just helps your lower back to release a little bit more towards the floor. So you can lie back with the cushions underneath your knees, or you can have your legs straight. And again, you're going to use your blanket, so make sure you're nice and warm. When you lie down, start with your legs together and then just let your feet roll apart. The arms are away from the sides, and then cover up your toes if you're cold. Again, if your head is thrown back, you can have that cushion under your head or a folded blanket. And again, bring the awareness into your breath. And as you exhale, just allow the entire body to soften into the floor. Feel the weight of the head moving into the floor as you exhale. Feel the weight of the arms softening into the floor. Feel the weight of the spine moving down into your support. And feel the weight of your legs and your feet. So feel with each exhalation, your body becomes a little more liquid. So you want to feel that your body is fluid-like. And as you exhale, you just want to visualise the front of your body melting into the back of your body. So feeling the movement of the belly with the breath, and with each exhalation, allowing the body to melt from front to back. And you can stay in Shavasana, corpse pose, again, for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, or for as long as you feel is comfortable. And when you are ready to come out, just start by making movements with your feet. You can make rotation with your ankles, or you can flex and extend your feet. Move your hands and then draw one foot at a time towards your bottom. Once your feet are on the floor, take a breath in. And as you exhale, you can roll to your right. I'm rolling to the left for the purpose of the camera. And again, if you've got any shoulder problems, you may want to roll to your left as well. Stay here for a few breaths and then press your hands into the floor. And then you can finish, if you wish, with your legs crossed, with your hands together. Again, if you feel your pelvis tips back at this stage, sit on a couple of blocks or blankets or whatever you've got to hand, cushions, and then just bring your hands together. And then just finish by bowing your head. And as we bow our head, we're bowing to our eternal soul. We're acknowledging our eternal soul. And when you're ready, you can raise the head back up. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.